Welcome to the Peew!
Welcome to the Peew!
Another somber edition.
Yes.
We're still talking about Keoki and the aftermath of his arrest and the unfortunate and tragic death of the person who died in his apartment. I didn't know who that guy was. Did you know him?
Well, not intimately.
Did you even know him superficially or
Yes.
just socially?
Not socially.
What was his name?
Antisocially. I think it was Hungry Bottom 69. I'm not sure what his actual name was. I can tell you what his screen name was.
You mean a sex app name?
Yes. Because he almost had. We had invited him over to our house approximately 3 weeks ago, and he was on his way over and he never showed up. So we just figured
But how do you know it's him, the same guy?
Because we saw his picture.
Oh, so you saw his picture in the sex app when he was coming to see you.
And then we saw his picture in connection with...
Oh, in the news stories?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
And Jay, my boyfriend...
So that means that you didn't really know...
He's like, Michael, do you recognize this person? And I said, he kind of looks familiar, but I thought it was from seeing him in the media. And then he showed me the app, but it was the same picture.
So you didn't really know him, though.
No.
It's just somebody that you saw on a sex app, and you invited him to come over.
We had to come,
But it's not like somebody you knew. He was essentially a stranger.
Right.
All right.
So,
but you don't know his real name. Well, you know his real name from the news story, and his real name I can't recall right now, but suffice to say, you didn't even know his real name at the time.
who knows anybody's real name?
Well, I mean, that's the thing with the sex apps. I mean, you don't know people's real names. You know, whatever name they give you is their name.
His real name was Thomas... Oh, actually, we did know his name was Tom. Thomas Felty.
Okay. So you knew his name's Tom.
Yeah.
And that's really all you knew about him?
Well...
Other than his sexual preferences, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you suspect that he was going to come over here and do drugs?
You kind of... That's kind of in the realm of possibilities when you invite somebody over like that. You never know where they're coming from, and if it's 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning, you have to assume that they're up. And he was on I remember him saying that he was on 73rd Street and he was walking here, and we thought it was strange that he's walking 30 blocks
in the middle of winter.
Yeah, instead of taking a cab. And we thought that was a little bit odd, and then he never showed up, and we figured he was just a flake, and But he wasn't a flake. He was an NBC producer.
Well, it's deep. So, some people on social media have been stating that it's inappropriate for Michael to be doing a Party Monster 2 party tomorrow with James St. James. That outrage, given all the things that have happened with Keoki, and in fact, Keoki did start DJing at Rumpus Room before you even started working there.
Yeah, I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Well, I mean, so it's kind of like his party, right?
Yeah, well, that's all the reason to keep it going while he's away, because, I mean, if it falls apart because he's gone, then he'll have nothing to come home to. So, in fact, people are doubling their efforts to keep it going, and while he's away. And
well, last week when I did my book party there, I mean, it was very lively. We had a great crowd.
The thing about Outrage is that people come and they stay and they have a good time. There's not a lot of turnover.
But I was there like 2.5 hours or 3 hours.
And for a small club, that's kind of incredible, because
it is.
You find something to do all the time.
I have no patience for a club that size.
And
normally,
if you notice,
past one drink.
The one thing I noticed about Outrage is that nobody's on their cell phones. I mean, unless it's just to take a picture. But nobody's sitting around texting anybody or communicating with other people. They're busy interacting and doing whatever they're doing.
I think that's more your party too than the fact that it's Rumpus Room, because there are other parties at Rumpus Room. Like I remember when Kayvon Zan was doing his Hitchcock Disco party. I loved that party, but I really would go there, I'd have one drink, and by the time I was done with the drink, I would be ready to leave, and usually to go to Suzanne Barsh's party.
It's interesting because I think that I loved Kayvon's party too. I was really surprised at how fabulous it was.
It was a great party.
It was. Lost a ton of money, but as those parties do. But the thing I noticed was a reminder of a situation that we used to have, which was kind of, and I don't know how to say, kind of all superficiality, no substance. It's like, I know that's what people accuse us of. And it was true. It was all about the look and the, you'd see when we go on the talk shows, we looked really great, but we didn't have a lot to say. And that's kind of what KO's party was. And that's not a dig, actually. It's just people put a lot of time and effort into their look and not a lot of effort into other things. And that's why people were on their phone, because they're not interacting, and it's just a different, and it's the same thing that happened with us. But
well, more about Keoki after the break.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Welcome back to the Peeew.
Peeew.
Our somber editions continue with more chat about Keoki and the repercussions of his arrest and the tragic death of the NBC producer in his apartment.
Yes, it's not all doom and gloom, fortunately. Before this happened, I was concerned with what I was witnessing as far as Keoki's behavior.
I've been very concerned about him for at least the past 2 years. I thought that he was really in a downward spiral.
Yeah, and not necessarily, you were talking about drugs. It didn't seem drug related to me. It was just a general depression and a hopelessness, giving up kind of thing.
And anger.
Resentment. Bitterness, I think. At what, I don't know. But I did notice it, and I called you about it even. And the giving away of his things, which very much upset me.
And that's a warning sign when people start giving away their valuables or things that are really, maybe they're not so valuable, but it means a lot to them.
The Westwood bag is $10,000.
All right, so it's valuable and it's something that would mean a lot to him.
Yeah. So, and he takes very good care of those things. When he went to jail, and I talked to him on the phone, I really noticed a change for the better in his attitude toward life. There's a renewed kind of lust for life and there's a fight in him. And he seems very anxious to get out and very anxious to start his life back up again. And I didn't see that in him 3 weeks ago. So maybe this was kind of the thing, a wake-up call kind of thing that he needed to happen. That's what happened to me. You learn not to take things for granted and to appreciate what you have.
So is he going to go to rehab?
Well, that's the thing. His mother and brothers wouldn't put up everybody contributed a little bit. Most people contributed a little bit what they could. You didn't, I noticed. But most people...
Well, nobody asked me to contribute anything.
Yeah, nobody asked anybody. They just...
Okay.
And because they cared about it. And so... Ernie, I'm sure you wanted to give. But his mother and brothers wouldn't contribute anything unless he would agree to go to rehab, and I thought that was going to be an issue with him. But it wasn't. When I brought it up, there was no argument. He said that yes, he agreed. In fact, he was looking forward to it. And his manager too, I thought there would be an issue there because people are booking Keoki left and right now. And I thought that Eric, his manager, would want to get him out there working right away. But he agreed. He said, yes, I'll send him to rehab. So it's good that everybody's on the same page and, there's kind of a group family effort.
What about the charges that he's facing?
Okay, there's 2 felony charges and 1 misdemeanor. And he and Colby are both being charged with the same things. And I guess it's just going to be up to the courts to decide. I don't know. Now, Can they both be found guilty of that? I don't know.
Well, right now, it's probably in the initial phases of the charges. In fact, the charges can change. They can be added or they could be retracted.
They were all misdemeanors at first. Now there's 2 felonies and a misdemeanor. And the drugs were all found in, as far as I know, the drugs were found in Colby's room. And the apartment is under Colby's name is on the lease. So he has that going for him.
How big is the apartment?
It's a 2-bedroom convertible 3. There's a 2-bedroom with a living room and a kitchen, and then another room that could be like a family room or a bedroom. And their rooms are at opposite ends. It's like a railroad flat. And Keoki's is at one end, and Colby's is at the other. And Colby has the big room with a fireplace and and Keoki's is a smaller room in the back. And Colby's room locks like he had a padlock on his door, the way you had on your door when you lived with me. And but it wasn't locked that day because Colby was home. So to say, I don't know, to say that the drugs belong to somebody else when they're in your room, it's kind of hard to say that because, who's going to put, pounds of drugs in somebody else's room?
Why did Keoki live with Colby?
Why did I live with you? I mean, they're friends. They got along. It makes sense.
There's doesn't seem to be on the surface anything that they share in common.
Well, it makes sense on it. They do actually, and it makes sense.
Because Keoki's way older than Colby. For one thing.
And that looks bad in the newspaper article. It says Keoki's age and then Colby's age, and it looks like Keoki must be the ringleader because he's but Colby's a party promoter. And Keoki's a DJ, so it makes sense on that level. And Keoki was DJing all Colby's parties, so it makes sense financially. Like the setup that we had in our loft was perfect because it was you, me, and Keoki, and I would have the club pay you, and have the club pay Keoki to pay all of the mortgage. So it worked out really well.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for watching.
Yep.
See you next time.
Bye.